Hello everybody and welcome to Valerie's Vittles and Valerie's Kitchen. It is so nice to see you back with the voice of new beginnings here today. I am celebrating my birthday, and traditionally for the past several years I have made shrimp and grits every morning for my birthday for the past several years. So that's what I'm going to work with you this morning. I give God praise for this day. I am so thankful to be alive. I give him glory that he let me wake up to see another day. And so I'm going to celebrate it with a feast. I have with me my green onion or scallion. I'm going to cut these tips off for a beautiful garnish here. I have some bacon that I broiled in the oven. I like to broil my bacon because it doesn't sit in the grease and absorb so much of that bacon fat, and it just makes it much crispier. And it just it has a really nice flavor. I have McCormick's minced onion. You can use either McCormick's mixed onion or you can use fresh onion. And I specify McCormick's. My family has been using McCormick products for 4 generations as far as I can count. So I am always going to go to the McCormick brand when I can. I'm also going to use some arrowroot. I'll show you how to make a roux with the arrowroot for the shrimp. You can't have the spice and make it nice without Tony Chiccheri's Creole seasoning. I love this stuff. You really don't need anything else with it unless you want to have a little extra salt. I have some minced garlic that I'm going to be using. And for today, I am using Quaker grits. This is what I grew up on. I'm from the northern part of the United States. So we use this here in the region that I'm from. I love these quick Quaker grits. Actually, they're old-fashioned Quaker grits. So I'm using those today. And then I have some Swanson's chicken broth that's going to go into my roux. And you'll see here I diced up some tomatoes that I'm going to use for our lovely garnish. Now, grits do take a while to cook, so I didn't want to bore you with that, but I will just show you briefly what I have right now. I have my grits that are cooking. They're almost done, actually. I don't know if you can see them, but these are my grits. And instead of using water, I used milk and a little bit of water. And then, of course, because butter makes it better, I threw in a spat of butter. I used 3/4 cups of milk with 1/4 cup of water. I put that in a pot, and I put it on medium. When it comes to milk, you don't let it boil like water because it will scorch and it'll leave a nasty aftertaste and sometimes create a film. So what I do is just put it on medium and watch it until it does start to bubble a little bit. So I guess it does boil, but not on a high boil like water. Put that in, and then once that came up to a nice temperature, I put my grits in there on low. You always want to do grits on low because you don't want them to cook too fast because then they'll still get that crunch. You want your grits to be nice and creamy. So I did that. So now I am going to come over here and start my shrimp. Why is I'm looking at the wrong burner. Lord have mercy. You would think I never cooked on this oven, on this stove, but I have. You may not be able to see me, but I'm coming over to the sink where I did wash my hands first. Notice, no jewelry. Whenever I cook, I always take all of my jewelry off. Yes, even my most coveted wedding ring. Some say if you're cooking, you can use a single band. I don't like to do that because germs can still get up under that band. So it's not only to keep the food clean, but it also keeps my jewelry clean and it doesn't leave gunk building up underneath the band. And then other thing, I have one of those sinks where you have the flip thing. So I use the back of my hand to flip up and down on that as well. So I'm just going to clean off my shrimp here. They've been thawing. When you have frozen shrimp, all you have to do is sit them in a colander or a strainer and put a little bit of cold water. Let some cold water run on them. I have some shrimp right here, and they have the shell on them, so I'm just going to shell them. You simply pull the shell off. You see, you pull the shell off right here. I don't like the tail on. These have already been deveined, as you see here. Sometimes there's that little vein right there. You just get a knife and slice down the middle, and then that vein will pull right out. But that's already been done for me, so I don't have to do that. You shell these shrimp, and then after you shell them, you want to make sure that you're washing them off again. And again, you use cold water because you don't want the shrimp to start to cook. If they start to cook, then you know it's not going to be so nice. They'll turn out rubbery if you cook them that way. So you always want to make sure you're thawing shrimp in cold or cool water, and then you rinse them. Anytime you're handling frozen shrimp or even raw shrimp, everything you do with them has to be done in cold water because they're so delicate. Even the warm water will start to cook the shrimp, and you don't want to compromise the integrity of the texture. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to wash them off one more time because I believe in making sure I have my food as clean as I can, and especially since it's my birthday, I want this done right. You hear what I'm saying? Oh, yes. So I'm running that cold water, using the back of my hand to turn it off. And I'm actually going to put them in a paper towel just to get that extra moisture off of there. But these babies are beautiful. So I have my shrimp here, and I have my pan. Now what I did when I broiled the shrimp and the bacon, I reserved some of that bacon fat because I put that back into the pan, and I'm just going to bring that up a little bit with some butter. I have my butter spatula. I love all the kitchen gadgets and different tools you can find. It's just wonderful, the things that they make for the kitchen. I take it off because I had it on too long. I'm going to put these babies right in here. They won't take long at all. And I'm just going to douse them with some of this Tony Shakeri, as you see right here. It's going to give it a nice little spice. That's about 1½ teaspoons. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt on there as well. And since I have them here, why not throw the onion in there too? Now, Tony Shakeri, like I said, I love it. But you really want to be careful because it has a lot of peppers in it. And I'm going to tell you, when you're cooking it, those peppers will actually kind of get up in your sinuses. Do you see that shrimp flip? Hey, I'm getting that. My late brother, God rest his soul, was a trained cook, chef. And I think that his mantle has departed on me because since he passed, I've been doing some things in the kitchen that I never thought I could do. Like one, flipping that shrimp. It was a little one, but hey. You got to count the small blessings, right? So, and then just to add to that, I'm going to dice up just a little bit of these scallions here. Just a little. I'm going to throw them in the pan. Woo, baby. Look, we're almost done already. We'll take these, throw them in the pan, like I said. And this is where you put the garlic in. I'm going to reserve this because I'm going to use this for my arrowroot. Don't ever do that. That was a bad example. And also, when you're cooking, don't ever touch your trash can. I have a step pedal for that. So that's what I use. Instead of putting my hand on the dirty trash can, I use my step pedal so I can keep my hands clean. I'm washing my hands again anyway because I was just touching raw vegetables. So I wash in between different things that I touch when I'm cooking. Get my spatula out here. These shrimp are cooking beautifully. So I'm just making sure they get nice and brown. Singe them. Not brown, just grilled. That's what I meant, charred. I'm so excited because I love my shrimp and grits. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. You don't have to let them cook all the way because once I make the roux, I'm going to put them back in there. So right now, I'm just going to lift those up. Take the shrimp out. I want to make sure I leave all those seasonings in there. I'm going to leave the peppers in there too. Not the peppers. I'm going to leave the scallions in there too. Okay, so now I'm putting that back up here. Here's where my 1/4 cup of chicken stock comes in. Now remember, I had bacon grease and butter already in the pan. I am so hyped. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really hyped up. I'm happy this morning. God has been so good to me. So I'm rejoicing. In spite of the many setbacks and trials that this last year had for me, God has been really good to me. So I'm just mixing this up here a little. And now I'm going to get my arrowroot, because what I have to do is I'm going to take the arrowroot. You use the same amount of arrowroot that you would with cornstarch. The difference with the arrowroot is it does not liquefy once you're done cooking. It's going to keep its structure. If you notice, I'm using a whisk. Whenever you're making a roux, you always use a whisk. It just makes everything get smoother and it helps to blend everything much nicer. So that's about, probably a little too much, but hey. I put that in there, maybe a teaspoon. This is my chicken stock. Today I'm using Swanson's, so I'm just going to get a little bit more, bring this back up. I had 1/3 of a cup, so now I'm probably bringing it up to about a half. And I'm mixing because I want to make sure all of those spices get nice in there. Turn this baby up a little bit. You might say I'm turning it up. What am I turning it up to? I'm putting it up on medium-low. Actually, I'm going to put it on medium. I have one of those super boil burners, so it's really tricky. So you got to watch it, especially with this particular set. The set doesn't require a lot of heat. Looks like my grits are done. When you're making grits, you want to check it periodically to make sure they're not sticking. These grits are done. They are so creamy. So I'm going to turn it off now. They are real creamy. I'm going to put just a touch of water in it, because what I should have done after it reached a certain point, I should have just turned the bowl off and let them sit, and I didn't, so they're a little thick. So I just want to, they're creamy though, but I just want to make them a little smoother. Yeah, you know what? No, I don't. They're grits. It's not cream of wheat. I'm going to put that right in my bowl because that's the bowl I'm going to eat out of. As you see here now, I'm continuing to stir this to make sure it doesn't stick, but I want to get it thick a little. So some folks do this part differently. You could put the, oh my gosh, you could put the tomatoes in there. I gotta rinse my spoon off. Yes, I'm showing you all the bloopers instead of taking them out because we're home cooks, right? We are not professionally trained. So I'm just gonna keep it real with you. At home we make mistakes, but there are certain rules of the kitchen that even though I'm a home cook, I still want to adhere to. Cleanliness is one of them. I've never done this before, but I think I want to add just a little bit of milk to my base. Woo! Just because I want it to look a little creamy. Oh yeah, that's what I was going for. Right there, right there, right there. This is going to be sinful, I'm telling you. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this one low. Actually, Actually, I'm just going to turn that off. I'm going to turn it off. Now, I told you before I had the onion. I'm going to bring up, did I say onion? Did I say onion? I did not mean onion. I do have the onion. Let me chop up my bacon. The bacon really doesn't have to be chopped any special kind of way. It's really how you want it to look. This now comes down to the presentation part. I debated putting it into my roux, but I'm not going to, because if I put it in the roux now, it's going to soften it back up. And I want to have that contrast in texture. So I'm just going to chop this up. And that baby is. See, that's the difference between broiling and frying it, and also, or baking it. When you broil it, it gets crunchy and it stays crunchy. I love that. It serves almost as a crackling when you're cooking. So there, I have that all broken up. Now let me rinse my hands, because I'm about ready to throw down, y'all. I'm about to throw down, I'm telling you. This is my happy birthday to me. God is good. He has been blessing me. So I'm going to take my grits. Get this out of the way so you can see, hopefully. Look at that. You see how that's coming out? That's beautiful. That's how you want your grits to look. They are so nice and creamy. See that? Now it's time to put it all together, baby. Put it all together, baby. Where's my thingy? I'm going to add just a little bit of butter. Give them all a little pat of butter. I don't know what I'm doing. Every time I make this, I do something different, but this is the recipe that I'm sharing with you all today. I'm going to put a little pat of butter here in my roux. Just because, as I said earlier, butter makes everything better. You don't need to turn it back on because the pan is still hot. Even though this is a gas stove, the heat from the pan allows it to continue cooking. So now, I'm going to take a spoon out just because I want you to see how beautiful this looks all together. I have all these seasonings. I got the scallions up in here that have already cooked. Now I'm putting in my shrimp. I usually put an egg on top. I don't feel like doing that this year because my husband treated me to a Long John with purple icing. So I'm not as hungry as I normally would be. If you're wondering why in the world she's getting a spoon, it's because I want to make sure I get all those cooked scallions out and some of that garlic that I put in the sauce to give it that extra flavor. Okay? So I have that. Next assembly is to put in my bacon because I want to get that bacon up in there. Remember, I said I kept it crunchy, so that's why I didn't put it in the roux. I want to keep that bacon nice and crunchy and crisp. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, if it doesn't taste good, I'll tell you. But there's no way this is not going to be good. Now I'm just chopping up my scallion here. I need a new knife set. My knives are not the sharpest, and I've been trying to sharpen them, but after a while, there's only so much more that you can do. So I'm chopping up now the tops for garnish. They're for garnish, but man, they do have some nice intense flavor too. It's really delicious. So now I'm just going to put some of those toppings up in there. Woo! Looking good, looking good, looking good. And then, of course, for the added part, I'm going to put in my tomato. And then look. Here's what I'm going to do. Sorry to turn my back on you all. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to go ahead and throw some cheese in there just to make it extra. Because after all, it is my birthday. So I'm putting this in here. Might as well just put it all in there. Now I'm going to throw in a couple extra of the scallions because I really want to get that color, because when I eat it and when you all see it, and who knows, you might one day have to get this at a restaurant. And if you come to the restaurant, You want to see all that beauty and goodness. But you want to be careful. You don't want to put so much garnish in that it doesn't taste good. And voila, there is my bowl of shrimp and grits. So let me take a little taste now. Like I said, I'm going to taste it and I'm going to tell y'all how it turns out, okay? Ooh, this bowl is hot. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot. I'm not going to eat a whole shrimp because that's too big to put in my mouth. So let me just get a little spoon here. I might as well put a whole shrimp in because these things are huge. Even a little piece is big. I got some of everything in this spoon. You see all this goodness up in this spoon? Do you see it? Look at the tomato. I got the scallion there, the cheese. Onions are inside, and the shrimp and the bacon. And hold on. Nut shrimp is cooked perfectly. I got the crisp of the bacon. And then you ease in the scallion with a nice cool of the tomato that kind of balances out Tony's. You got that minced onion. Knife is good. I am blessed. I am so blessed. God, let me see one more day. I pray that you see another day and that every day gets better than the day before. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And happy birthday to me. Yeah. Love it.